You know, when people try to warn you and tell you, do not vote another Democrat as a political governor or political office, you look at us like we're crazy, like we're Nimrods, and we don't know what the fuck we're talking about, and here you guys are getting fucked. We tried to warn you, but you didn't want to listen. So New York Mayor dumbass Eric Adams slashes budgets for police, libraries, and schools because of the migrant crisis, made the deep budget cuts necessary, while progressive Democrats called the reduction dangerous and unnecessary. Again, we tried to warn you that this was going to happen, that this guy was going to fuck New York City, and behold, he's doing exactly what we told was going to happen. So Mayor Eric Adams said New York City will need to reduce some essential services because of the expenses of housing and influx of homeless migrants. And this article is from the New York Times. Mayor Eric Adams announced painful budget cuts to New York City services on Thursday that would freeze police hiring and close libraries on Sunday, and warned that more cuts would be necessary without additional federal funding to manage the migrant crisis. The budget cuts would bring the number of police departments officers below 30,000 for the first time since 1980, slashing the education department budget by $1 billion over 2 years, and delay the rollout of composting in the Bronx and Staten Island, one of the mayor's signature initiatives to address rats and climate change. The cuts would also weaken two popular programs, summer school and universal pre-kindergarten. So guess what, guys? Because of this dumbass continuing to take illegal immigrants, you guys are going to feel the brunt of his consequences. And it's like, well, we have to do these necessary cuts because of it is getting so expensive to house these people. Here's a suggestion. Stop taking these fucking people into the state. Stop taking them in. Turn them away. Just how if you don't want nobody to come to your house, they're not going to come to your house. You're not going to invite them. Do the same thing here. You have an influx of migrants continuing to come to New York City by the thousands. How about you just do not let them in? Turn them away. You keep allowing them in is what's causing this situation. And yet the people of New York City are the ones who have to feel and reap the consequences because of his dumbass decision. Again, we told you this was going to happen. We told you, hey guys, stop voting for the blue just because you live in New York City. Mayor Adams said in a statement that he had to make cuts across city agendas in response to the rising cost of migrant crisis, slowing tax revenues, and the ending of federal pandemic aid. No city should be left to handle a national humanitarian crisis largely on its own, and without the significance and timely support we need from Washington, D.C., today's budget cuts will only be the beginning. Only be the beginning. Oh, guys, guess what? Hey, summer school, we got to cut that out for the kids. You know what I mean? All universal pre-kindergarten, we got to cut that off. And, hey, police officers, we got to cut that off too. So if you guys are ever in danger and you call a police officer to come save you if your house is getting robbed, whatever the case may be, and one doesn't come to you to your time of need in a timely fashion, you could blame Eric Adams for that because he did this to you guys. He is slashing the funding because they got to give it to the migrants that he is allowing in the city. Do you see how fucking retarded and dumb that is? Mind blowing. But again, that's Democrats for you. The cuts to New York City $110 billion budget comes as Mr. Adams is facing two crises that would come to defy his morality and his chances at winning a second term. An influx of migrants from the southern border that he has said could destroy the city, and a federal investigation into his campaign fundraising. But again, knowing New York City has had a history of doing this. The people in New York City, they just vote blue just because it's been a Democratic state. Yet they don't know the views or where a politician stands. They just be like, oh, why you vote for Democrat? Why you vote for the blue? Why you keep voting blue? Oh, because we did it before and I'm gonna just continue to do it again. People who didn't know who the fuck Mayor Eric Adams was, they just voted for him because he was a Democrat. And again, it's the same shit in San Francisco. People vote blue because it's been the norm between those two pro-liberal states. And now those are the two liberal states who are facing the most in homelessness and migrant crisis. Coincidence? I don't think so. Mr. Adams, a Democrat in his second year in office, has warned at a news conference of Tuesday that the budget cuts could be extremely painful for New Yorkers. Could be extremely painful. You're getting rid of police officers. You're downsizing the police force. You're getting rid of libraries. You're getting rid of universal pre-kindergarten. Could be. So more people are going to be out on the streets. You're going to have a whole bunch of people who are not from this country. Homeless rates continue to go up. You have other issues like rent crisis. You have other issues like consumer goods are going through the roof. You have other issues like crimes is at an all-time high. And you're talking about, well, it could be extremely painful to the people of New York. Sorry that we have to take away all these, rights, all these advantages to you to give to these people that we are taking in, that I'm allowing. Okay, this guy is a fucking idiot. I mean, good God. In all my time in government, this is probably one of the most painful exercises I've gone through, he said. But yet you're still allowing it to happen. Progressive Democrats immediately criticized the mayor's cuts and said that they would hurt working class families if they haven't already. Lincoln Rescher, a chair of the city council progressive caucus, said his group would not cooperate with the cuts, nor should they. Nor fucking should they. These cuts are outrageous. Outrageous. Mayor Adams, unnecessary, dangerous, and was that androgynous? I'm just going to say D. Budget cuts will only worsen New York City's affordable crisis and delay our city's economic recovery by cutting funding for the school, childcare, food assistance, and more that help New Yorkers live and raise families. In this, Mr. Ressler said, Mr. Adams said that the cost of migrant crisis was growing and expected to cost nearly $11 billion over 2 years, and the next year's budget had major $7 billion gap. The cuts go into effect immediately. City officials said that the mayor can implement hiring freezes on its own. The city council has a role in approving certain budget cuts, certain budget changes, including when funding is shifted among agencies or increased. It can approve budgets and modifications or vote them down, but the council is more likely to fight the mayor's cuts by negotiating the budget for the next fiscal year, which is due in June and requires council approval. Yeah, guys, how about just when next election comes, you see what he's doing to your city, get him the fuck out of there. Period. Like I said, there's no right, political governor to a point, because they're all the same. They're all evil. They all don't give a fuck about you. They'll bitch moan and beg to get your vote. But the minute they go into office, they fuck you over like this. But this is going to be a tide and turn where you'll start to see New York go red. Hopefully. Because especially New York City is full of Nimrods, but hopefully they start to go to the other side. It's a little bit better on the other side. It's not perfect. They still got the evil people over there, but hopefully this wakes people up and be like, yeah, every time we keep voting blue, every time we keep voting Democrat, some dumb shit keeps happening, and yet we're the ones who have to pay for their dumbass decisions. But let me know what you guys think about Eric Adams having these massive and insane and ridiculous budget cuts because of the migrant crisis that he is allowing to happen. Do you agree, disagree? Leave your comment down below. Subscribe to the channel, smash the like button, and I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Deuces.